Somewhere in the Persian Gulf right now, there is a ship with its lights switched off on purpose. No signal, no name on the tracking systems that are supposed to know where every large ship on Earth is. Moving at night, hugging the coastline, trying not to be seen. It's not doing anything illegal. It's part of how one man quietly pulled close to $100 million out of a war zone. And almost no one of the shipping industry has ever heard his name. My name is Ashraf and we're here talking finance.
CENTCOM says they were trying to get past the blockade. Tim Hawkins told Al Jazeera the Strait of Hormuz remains.
Nobody could explain what this man was doing. Not the buyers, not his competitors, and not even the people working for him, until a war made it obvious. Chaos has a price, and most people won't pay it. Late last year, a South Korean shipping company called Sinokor did something that made the entire industry stop and stare. Its owner, Ga-Hyun Chung, started buying supertankers like a man who knew something nobody else did. By February, he owned 150 of them, almost 40% of every large ship on Earth that wasn't already spoken for. Nobody could explain it, and it looked like a mistake. And then the United States struck Iran. Iran fired back with one sentence that shook the entire oil industry: the Strait of Hormuz. That narrow stretch of water that fifth of the world's oil has to pass through is now closed. Except it wasn't closed like a locked gate, it was closed the way a road is closed when there's a shooter on it. Still physically open, nobody's son wants to drive through. So almost every shipping company in the world pulled out, and the ones still wanting to send a ship through that water could suddenly name their price. A rental that used to cost $37,000 a day shot up past $170,000 a day. Same ship, same danger it could always have carried. The only thing that changed was how many people were still wanting to say yes. And that's the entire secret. And it's almost insultingly simple. When everyone else is run, the person who gets to stay sets the price. Build capacity before you know exactly what it's for. Here is the twist that makes this better than a lucky guess. Chung wasn't preparing for a war with Iran. Weeks earlier, the United States has reopened oil trade with Venezuela, and Chung built his massive fleet chasing that. Sending ships toward the United States Gulf, betting big on a completely different opportunity. The Iran war hadn't ever started yet. Then, a totally unrelated crisis exploded on the other side of the planet, and then the exact 150 ships Chung built for reason A turned out to be exactly what reason B needed. He didn't predict for the right war, he just showed up overprepared for a different one. And when the jackpot landed somewhere else entirely, he was only standing there, with the only fleet big enough to cash in. Being first isn't the age, being able to do it again and again is. A fun fact, Chung didn't even invent the thing that made him rich. 10 days into the war, a small Greek company called Dynacom pulled off something wild. Snuck one tanker right through the danger zone, lights off, no signal, in and out, safely. Word spread overnight because the UAE's oil company didn't need this stunt done once. They needed it done constantly for months, on repeat, and the small company with one clever chip couldn't give them that. And Chung could. He already have 150 ships standing there doing nothing. By June, almost half of all the oil leaving the Gulf from the UAE was riding on Chung's ships, sailing 2 days dark through the strait, handing off the oil just outside the danger zone, then turning around back for more. Traders started calling it the milk run, like it was a boring delivery route instead of a war zone. 3 of these ships alone are estimated to have pulled in somewhere between $60 and $120 million. Dynacom got a footnote on a news article nobody remembers. Chung got the money because nobody pays you for being first. They pay you for being the one who do it again and again and again, right when they need it the most. Risk that's being priced isn't a gamble, it's a service. This wasn't just a bravado. The mines were a real possibility on his way. Real enough that the United States military eventually stepped in to protect part of it from the air. And it wasn't reckless. Insurance on these ships used to cost about 0.1% of a ship's value. During the war, that jumped to 5%. Almost 25 times more expensive. Overnight. That's the market putting an exact price tag on exactly how dangerous this had become. And Chung making sure he got paid enough to cover it every single time. The people who survive danger and get rich doing it aren't fearless. They're precise. Undefined risks kills you. Priced risks pays you. The pattern is older than the war. This isn't even new. In the 1980s, a Norwegian ship owner named John Fredriksen built his entire fortune the exact same way, sailing tankers through Iranian waters during an earlier war, while missiles were literally being fired at the commercial ships. Different war, different decade, same exact move. The war changes, the oil changes, but what never changes is the shape. A narrow checkpoint everyone needs, a sudden shortage of people brave enough to cross it, and someone standing there ready to take the risk. Everyone else just refused. Learn to see that shape and you stop reading the headlines to see what's coming. By early July, Chung was reportedly still at it, showing up at the shipping conference in Athens, arm wrestling anyone who'd take him on, and in the same breath, trying to talk to other owners into selling him even more chips. That was the whole story. Not a genius with a secret formula. It was a man who bet all what he needed for a wrong reason. And somewhere right now, one of his ships is sailing dark past a coastline most of us will only ever see on the news. Nobody put it there by accident. If this was your kind of stories, make sure to stay up for the following videos, because chaos never stopped making a very specific kind of person switch. The only question is whether you spot the pattern next time before it's already in the headlines.